things that my partner Ben and I have created is a program called You're the Expert, Now Write the Damn Book. And that came out of us talking to a lot of people who have said, oh, I've got a book I want to write, or I've always wanted to write a book, or I had this great idea. But they didn't know how to go from that to actually having the book done. We came up with a program, which is essentially 3 parts: the why, the how, and the what. And I used that format to write 2 books in 2 months. One book is just under 180 pages and one is just over 180 pages, but they're approximately 200 pages each. Film Notes is a kind of pocket size, 6x9 standard, not a textbook so much as kind of a manual about how to write, direct, and produce an indie film. So my why was I wanted to help indie film people, or people that had a great idea, kind of like the people we talked to who wanted to write a book. There's a lot of people out there who want to make a movie, but they don't know how to do that. And it's very difficult to find a book that has an overview on all the different parts to making a film. And so I wanted to write something that you could just pick up and say, I'm having a problem with X. And you could kind of flip through and find information on how to help you do X, or Y, or Z, or A, or B, or C, whatever it might be. And you don't have to sit down and read the whole book. You don't have to read a number of books. You can kind of just pick it up and find a very specific set of to-dos, or a checklist, or example of some paperwork, or just an outline or some good ideas. I also put in a lot of interesting tips and facts and quotes, things that would invite creativity and help people with their process of being inspired and wanting to move forward when things get difficult. So that was my why. My how was, and I joked with people that it's like that expression people have quite often, bands or musicians will say, well, it took 10 years to become an overnight success. And I wrote 2 books in 2 months, but it took me 20 years to do that. And my how was, in June, I sat down and said, I have 20 years worth of notebooks, worth of tips and tricks, and always do this and never do that, from all the time I've spent on set over the last 20 years of working in indie film. And I've always thought, wouldn't it be great to organize that and put it out in some kind of a book so I could help other people and share all the knowledge and the resources and the connections that I've made over the last 2 decades. The writing process was very quick. I actually used the template of editing a film to help me write the book. And I was able to go from the idea to a completed draft in a month. And then my wife, on a weekend, said, it would be great if you had kind of a companion, like a workbook, to go with it. So there's questions, there's exercises, there's examples of production paperwork, there's checklists of like what to do, if there's an editing checklist if you're editing, or there's a pre-production checklist if you're just getting organized, or whatever it might be. And I said, oh, I just wrote a book. But that's a great idea. So the why came again. Well, why should I do the workbook? Oh, well, because as my wife said, it would be a great companion. And it would enable me to put in all the things that didn't quite fit in the manual.